Christian Bale pulls off yet another impressive transformation as Dick Cheney in Vice, which is already generating Oscar buzz for the actor. But is the film as good as Bale's performance? I'm Elizabeth Wagmeister, here with our chief film critic, Owen Gleiberman. Owen, let's just start right off the bat with Christian Bale. It really is a stunning transformation. He looks exactly like Dick Cheney. How do you think he does in this film?
Well, I think Christian Bale does an awesome impersonation of Dick Cheney. And that's a terrific thing to see because, I always loved the Cheney personality. And the whole thing about Cheney is that he was this silent kind of bureaucrat, very neutral. I mean, he talked like he was leading a marketing seminar, and yet he represented the most extreme right-wing politics, pro-torture, pro-war. And so there's that wonderful contradiction about Cheney. And Bale just totally nails it. He gets that sort of quiet but crazy Dick Cheney thing, and that is just an incredibly cool thing to see.
I have been Secretary of Defense. I have been Chief of Staff. The Vice Presidency is mostly a symbolic job.
Right. I can see how that wouldn't be enticing to you.
Now, Vice is written and directed by Adam McKay, who of course we know from The Big Short. And Adam McKay, he really takes some big risks here with his filmmaking. What do you think about some of these elements?
However, the Vice Presidency is also defined by the President. And if we were to come to a different understanding.
I think Vice is a very sort of brashly entertaining and audacious movie, and I loved when it had these comic sequences, like this Shakespearean dialogue, or there's one where Dick Cheney is in a restaurant, and what's on the menu are all these terrible Republican policies that they order, and Alfred Molina is very funny as the waiter. I actually think there should have been more of those sequences, because I keep hearing Vice being called a satire, but frankly, they add up to about 4.5 minutes of a 2-hour and 10-minute movie. If you take those few sequences out, I think you have a pretty straight biopic. And this is Adam McKay kind of saying, even more than he did in The Big Short, he wants to play with the big boys. He is making a real drama about Dick Cheney.
1 time is I'm sorry. 2 times makes me think that I've picked the wrong man.
And it's on that level, frankly, that I think the movie falls a little short. It is kind of an entertaining ramble through Dick Cheney's greatest hits of infamy. I sort of experienced the movie as a vengeful circus for liberals. We're watching this film and kind of appalled and at the same time almost laughing at all the terrible things Dick Cheney did and how he got away with it. It stops the movie from exploring this question of what was it that made someone like Dick Cheney tick? The liberal explanation for that is always, well, look, it's about greed and power and subverting democracy. But this is a biopic, so I wish that Adam McKay had made a more kind of psychologically penetrating movie that showed us what is behind this greed and power and desire to subvert democracy that we're now fighting in this country. He had an opportunity to do that, and I don't think Vice delivers.
No, we're gonna discuss this right now while you smell like vomit and cheap booze.
Does Dick want some coffee?
What? Mom, get out! Get out! Does Dick want some coffee? Jesus Christ!
Now, Vice is certainly a talking piece. Critics have varied opinions, but something that everybody agrees on is Bale. His performance is really impressive. Do you think that he has a real chance at the Oscar here?
I certainly think he has a chance to win Best Actor. But the reason I don't think it's a slam dunk is that when you think of certain other performances that are kind of these awesome impersonations of people, like for instance, Philip Seymour Hoffman in Capote, or Charlize Theron playing the serial killer Eileen Wuornos in Monster. Those performances were incredible on the level of impersonation, but also the actors brought this amazing quality of soul. They really explored who these people were. Bale's performance is virtuoso acting, but I don't think Vice is a deep enough movie to give him a chance to create Dick Cheney as a completely memorable human being I think he's a contender, but it's not a slam dunk.
You're only as good as the material that you get, right?
That's exactly right.
All right, well, thank you so much, Owen. And of course, as always, for more information on Vice, go to Variety.com or follow us on Twitter.